Frank Athen Walls, March 26, 1985. 19-year-old college student Tommy Lou Whidden was spending time alone at Okaloosa Island Beach. Frank Athen Walls approached her there, and after that meeting, she never returned. He also took her car and left the area. Over the next 2 years, the pattern continued. In September 1986, Cynthia Sue Condra, age 24, was killed in the Wright area. In May 1987, Audrey Gigi, age 47, was found dead inside her mobile home near Fort Walton Beach. But the most disturbing incident came on July 22, 1987. Air Force Airman Edward Alger, age 22, and his girlfriend Anne Louise Peterson, age 20, were inside their home at Greenwood Mobile Home Park. During the night, a noise was heard. When they went to check it, Frank Walls was already inside. A struggle followed. Both Edward and Anne did not survive the incident. After that, he left the scene with cash and personal items. Just 2 days later, police arrested Frank Walls after receiving key information from his roommate. As the investigation continued, authorities connected him to multiple cases based on evidence and statements. In 1988, Frank Athen Walls was convicted of 2 counts of first-degree murder. He received a death sentence for the murder of Anne Peterson. Years later, after legal appeals, the case reached its final stage. In November 2025, a death warrant was signed, and on December 18, 2025, Frank Athen Walls was executed at Florida State Prison. He was pronounced dead at 6:11 p.m. His actions left a lasting impact on Okaloosa County, and multiple families were affected forever. Kenneth McDuff, one of the most controversial serial killers in Texas history. In 1966, when he was just 20 years old, Kenneth McDuff was involved in a case that shocked the entire state. On a quiet evening, 3 teenagers were standing near a parked car at a baseball field. They were Robert Brand, 17, his girlfriend Edna Louise Sullivan, 16, and Mark Dunham, 15. McDuff and an accomplice approached them. They were forced at gunpoint. All 3 teenagers were taken away from the area. Later, in a remote location, Robert Brand and Mark Dunham did not survive. Edna Louise Sullivan was taken to another place where she also lost her life. Her body was later discovered nearby. Kenneth McDuff was arrested and originally sentenced to death, but later his sentence was changed to life in prison. Then came one of the most controversial decisions in the case. In 1989, McDuff was granted parole and released. After his release, his life took a darker turn. Over the following years, at least 6 more young women became victims of his crimes. Among them were Seraphia Parker, Brenda Thompson, Regina Moore, Colleen Reed, and Valencia Joshua. In May 1992, Kenneth McDuff was arrested again. This time, the case led to a second conviction. He was sentenced to death once more. On November 17, 1998, Kenneth McDuff was executed by lethal injection in Texas. His case is still widely discussed today, not only because of the crimes, but because of the decision that allowed him to be released in the first place. The unknown man called Doug. September 8, 1988. Tucson, Arizona. 24-year-old university student Diane Abel was living a normal college life. She was studying accounting at the University of Arizona and staying in a campus dorm. That night, Diane was seen at a local bar called the Bum Steer. Witnesses said she was with a man known only as Doug. He was described as driving a red pickup truck with New York license plates. Some people said he was visiting Tucson to see his brother, Dave. Around 1:30 in the morning, Diane was last seen near her dorm building. After that moment, she disappeared. The next morning, her alarm went off as usual, but Diane never returned to answer it. Her roommate entered the room and noticed something unusual. Her purse, wallet, and keys were still inside. There were no signs of a planned departure. Friends and family quickly contacted campus police. Search efforts began immediately, but answers were limited. The only real question was simple. Who was Doug? And why was he the last person seen with Diane? Weeks passed with no progress. Then, 5 weeks later, a discovery was made in a remote desert area northwest of Tucson. Investigators confirmed it was Diane. The case shifted focus to the man called Doug. Witnesses helped police create sketches, and newspapers published them across the area. Detectives believe this unknown man held the key to the entire case. But Doug was never identified. No arrest was made, and the case eventually went cold. Years passed. Then in October 2024, authorities announced they were reviewing the case again. New technology and renewed investigation efforts brought hope that answers might finally be found. But even after more than 3 decades, one question still remains.